Hello, friends. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic which we sometimes tend to overlook is the value of time. How important it is that you value punctuality, you value time, you value your time, you value other people's time, and how it plays a part in your life. And there is a famous saying that if you don't value time, time will not value you. And you can take anybody's example for life, and you will see that people who have valued time, they are succeeded, have a name, earned a reputation, and the people have who have not valued time, time has not valued them, and they have disappeared into oblivion. Talking about that, how does one imbibe that? How does one learn that? Right? It is something that you do over a period of time. And for me, I found that from my childhood. My childhood, in the sense, as a child in school and further in college and everything, I used to watch one man. Uh, that one man was subconsciously, and we used to make fun of him and laugh at him and say that ये हमेशा टाइम पे पहुंच जाता है उसको 9 बजे बोलो you say 9, the bell will ring and you can match your watch and say he's here at 9 p.m. Does he have anything to do or not? Does he comes at the time given? Who comes at 9 p.m. when you call at 9 p.m.? People come at 10, 10:30, 11 because they feel there's more importance if I come late. मेरी entry late हो तो better लगता है. You know, that's not the case. It is the person who comes on time. Now, this person's name was Mr. J.C. Jain, whom I'm talking about, my mama. Now he being general manager, Times of India, the one who started Filmfare Awards, Filmfare magazine, the Illustrated Weekly, the Screen, the Femina, and who was a kingmaker in Bollywood in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. And his legacy still carries on with Filmfare. That man was a great administrator, a great planner, but most of all, a man with punctuality. For him, being punctual was on time. And I have seen it as a child that when we called him home or you had to meet him in his office, which was a very difficult thing to do, to meet J.C. Jain, General Manager Times of India, in his office to have an appointment with him, where if you reached there 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late, he would say, I'm sorry, your time was this, you came late, I have no time for you, sorry, please go away. Whoever it was, it could have been the biggest superstar, it could have been a film star, it could have been an important guest. He didn't give a damn. He kept his time. He said, if I keep my time, I expect others to keep time. And for some reason, I learned that later on in life, and I learned it when I got my first job. You know, uh, that if you are late, everybody can be late. Everybody can, there's a problem. I think it's courtesy to ring up that person you're meeting. Suppose you've given a time for 10 o'clock and you're stuck in traffic. It happens. You're stuck in traffic and you would be late. I think it's a great thing to do, to ring up that person and say, listen, I was supposed to meet you at 10, but I'm stuck in traffic. I will be 15 minutes late. I hope that's okay. It's a very small thing, but it goes a very long way to speak about you and your character of what you are. And if you are expecting somebody and you are busy in a meeting, it happens to everybody. And somebody is waiting for you at a given time and he's reached on time, but you haven't been able to meet him on time. I make it a point, even today, to go to that person when I meet him and say, I'm sorry, I kept you waiting. You were to meet me, but I'm sorry, I had a call, I had something to do. I'm sorry I kept you waiting. That speaks a lot about you as a person. This takes me on to my next issue about my third class student's first job. A very good title, isn't it? Third class student's first job. I was a third class student in my school, in my college. I did my BSc with chemistry and I copied in my exam and passed. I can say it. I copied. But I got that 39 whatever percent was the required minimum to pass. Scrape through unit copying. And who would give me a job? I wanted a job. So my father and uncles and who were influential in Bombay, pretty influential. यार इसको नौकरी कौन देगा? Who's going to give this guy a job? He's a third class pass graduate, and who is going to give him a job? So my father suddenly called up Mr. Nakul Sen, he's an IS officer, governor of Goa, well known, and the father of a very famous politician Ambika Soni, who is still there, somebody and her sister. And we grew up together as children, and they used to come for holidays to Bombay. They were very fond of going to shooting, so we used to take them for shooting. So we've kind of grown up together, Ambi and me. So I'm talking of those days. So he called up Nakul Sen and said that, get my son a job. This guy is, past third class and whatever it is. So he says, okay, let me think. So he called up his friend and he got me a job in SIBA of India. Now, SIBA of India, as we all know, it is a famous pharmaceutical, pesticides and cosmetics, and they had the famous Binaka toothpaste. Binaka, and they had the Binaka top, Binaka rose, Binaka green, and the famous, of course, Binaka Geetmala, which the famous Amin Sayani used to run. So he got me an interview with the chairman of that company, Mr. Gautam Sehgal, and he said, go and meet him. And their office was exactly opposite my house at Churchgate, Prem Court, opposite, across the road, and his Royal Insurance building, which was SIBA's office. Just 2 minutes. So I went for the interview, met Mr. Gautam Sehgal, very polished young man, dashing man. For friends who don't know who Gautam Sehgal is, he was the husband of Nayanthara Sehgal, the sister of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Very illustrious family. And he was the president of the company. So he interviewed me. He said, Mr. Nakul Sen called me, and you're his nephew and whatever. And saw my CV, third class. So he says, oh, you want a job in my company? I said, sir, if you can do it, I'll appreciate it. He said, but do you know I have about 7 people who are all MBAs and first class toppers from Bajaj Institute of Management, and they're all qualified people and they've got jobs on their own merit. I said, I know, sir, but if you can give me a chance, I'll prove myself. He said, okay, I'll give you a job, I'll try you out. So he gave me the job. In those days was 1,500 rupees a month, which I'm talking of the 60s, late 60s, was a lot of money. So I was very thrilled, so I called up my uncle and said, uncle, thank you very much. I got the job. He said, good luck to you. So I did the job. And I started working with these people. When I met them, you start with an insecurity and an inferiority complex that, you're working with this big MBA, and you got the job because of some pull or somebody who you know that feeling you have when you get the job because of that. So you try to prove yourself that you're worthy of that job. And sometimes you make too much of an effort, or sometimes you don't make an effort because you think, "Arey, mere ko kaun nikalega?" I got a job through the governor's office, through the chairman. What the hell? Let me do what I want. I took the second road. I said, who's going to throw me out? I got a job through influence. So who's going to throw me out? So I was taking that job very lightly, and I used to go to work. Instead of 9 o'clock, I used to leave at 10 o'clock. Instead of leaving at 6, I used to leave at 5. And I used to walk out of the office. Baap ka Raj. I got into the cosmetics division, which was doing the Binaka Geet Mala, the Binaka Hit Parade, and the Binaka toothpaste publicity. In those days, Binaka was bigger than Colgate. And I had the good fortune, to work with this legend whose name was Amin Sayani. I was in that zone of suddenly meeting advertising agencies for their publicity campaigns, meeting them, going out for parties, drinks, booze, women, all that thing, exposed to all that for the first time. And I became complacent, and I started doing my own thing as if this was my own kind of company business, not listening to timing, punctuality, coming late, going early, having a nice time with the advertising people, stuff like that, and taking it as a joke, not seriously. Why? Because you come through influence. Now all this happened. Then suddenly you get calls from all the big film producers and music directors saying, "Hamara Gana." In those days, Binaka Geet Mala mein, if a song comes, and that is the reason why it becomes an instant hit, because you're in the Binaka top 20. So everybody calling me, यार हमारा गाना डाल दो गाने में, picture Binaka Geet Mala में, हमारा ये कर दो, हमारे कर. So I used to sit with Amin Sayani and talk to him. So भैया मेरे को phone आ रहा है, कहता है यार ये this is all part of life. We have a different system and we work that way. Anyway, whatever happened, cut the story short. We're talking of punctuality, and I was the worst case of punctuality when it came to my job, because I was complacent. Having seen my uncle be punctual and an idol of punctuality, I had forgotten that part of it. And I got this because I got into this comfort zone. And one fine day, when all this happened, Mr. Gautam Sehgal called me up and said, "Mr. Lal, do you know that this is the company? It's not your private business that you can come and go when you want." So I said, "Yes, sir, sorry, sir. But you know, I am going to fire you. Would you like to resign or should I fire you?" So I told him, "Sir, you cannot fire me. I am Mr. Nakul Sen's nephew." He said, "I can fire you." I mean, look at my arrogance. Look at my thing. You're talking to the president of the company saying you can't fire me. But I had that whole feeling of complacency कि भैया मैं contact से आया हूँ, influence से आया हूँ, you cannot do it. I said, "You can't fire me." I said, "I can fire you." So, okay, sir, give me a day. Let me think about it. So you think about it. I want your resignation on the table, or I'm going to fire you. So I went home, called up, "Uncle, you're firing me." Okay, why? You must have done something wrong, beta. What's wrong with you? No, I didn't do anything. You know how it is. I didn't do anything wrong. You know how it is. Then why is he firing you? I said, "I may have gone late or not attended on time or taken off or without." So he says, "You do one thing, you resign." I said, "You sure?" He said, "You resign. Don't get fired because it will go wrong in your future jobs. So you resign." So I wrote my resignation, and next day went to him and I said, "Sir, I'm sorry, but you're right that I have been complacent, I haven't been punctual, and I would like to resign." He says, "That's a good decision, Mr. Lal, and thank you so much for everything," and thank you, shook hands and left the job, and that was the end of the job. So that was my first experience, my first jhatka, my first learning lesson of complacency, taking things for granted, because you're coming from an influence, because of punctuality. All these things taught me a lesson in that 1.5 year which I was in SIBA with. And then after that, when this finished, I had to look for another job, and then Mr. J.C. Jain knew another gentleman called Mr. B.M. Ghia, who was the chairman of Bayer India. Bayer is a very big pharmaceutical company, German company. So he got me a job in Bayer India, and over there, when I joined him, I had German bosses, and I took my job so seriously. I joined at a salary of 1,000 rupees. There I was 15. I joined at a salary of 1,000 rupees. When I joined, they have the pesticides, the pharmaceutical, and the rubber chemicals division. So I joined them in the rubber chemicals division with German bosses, and I learned the meaning of punctuality, the meaning of discipline, the meaning of doing my work and everything else which I did. And I used to go there at 9 o'clock. Our office was at Nagin Mahal in Churchgate, and then they moved to the Express Towers at Nariman Point. And I used to reach at 9 o'clock sharp. But another thing which I didn't learn over there, which I learned later on, was, which I want to share with you, and this is for everybody, for you to learn and see, is I used to work there till the timing was 9 to 5, but I used to work till 7, 7:30, and then go home at 7, 7:30. So one day, my German boss called me in and he said, "Please come in." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I believe that you were working till 7, 7:30 in the evening. You have that much of work? Are you overloaded with work? That you're working from 9 to 7:30? Everybody goes home at 5 o'clock. You're working, sir?" "No, sir, I was trying to prove to him that by sitting late, I am working. Because of my previous experience, I wanted to impress my bosses." He told me, "Mr. Lal, if you don't leave at 5 o'clock from tomorrow, I'll fire you." I said, "Hey, what is this?" I said, "Sir, He says, "You have 9 to 5, you have 8 hours or whatever time you have to work. In between this, if you cannot finish the work which you are going to do or given to you for the day, either you are faffing around or sitting and having coffee with your colleagues and friends, or not doing the work you're supposed to do, and then you sit late to prove to me, just to show me that I'm working late." Working late does not mean that I'm a hard worker or I'm a conscientious and I will complete my work. And working late means that you are not doing your job from the time given to you. I learned that lesson from that German boss of mine, and which I feel that all of you have to learn this, that during your office time you do your work, that time given to you, and you do it conscientiously, you will finish your time at the right time, 9 to 5, 10 to 6, whatever time it is. But you will not sit late. This just to impress your bosses that I am working late. This is another lesson for everybody which I want to share with you to learn, is that punctuality, doing your work to time given to you, focusing on your work and completing your job and leaving at the time when you're supposed to leave. So this is also part of punctuality. So you are leaving and coming at the same time, doing your job and going. These are things which nobody will tell you about. These are things which I am talking to you out of experience, out of something that I have experienced in my life, and would like to share this with you. And with this, I would like to say bye to you for today's episode, and I'll see you again soon. Have a good day. Thank you.